What's up, Sooner fans? We're here on the early week for Sooner softball championship mindset, approaching the Big 12 tournament at Hall of Fame Stadium. Sooners will be taking on the winner of Baylor, Iowa State, and we're here tonight to just preview the Big 12 tournament and the postseason for the Sooner girls who have are going entering with a 41 game win streak. And what do you guys think?
I'm pretty excited.
Here's what I think, honestly. There's not much of a team that I'm worried about. I think we can all agree on that. No matter who, no matter who. Now I know it's a conference tournament. Anything can happen. But when you have a team that's on the status of OU and with how deep they are pitching wise, I think it's going to be hard for any team to outpace OU for sure offensively. But we have seen some teams have some success maybe limiting OU offensively, but you've seen the effective pitching depth that OU's had, which has caused problems for most teams.
And I think this bracket's going to stay true to seeds. It's going to be OU versus Baylor. Then it's going to be OSU versus Texas. And then I think it's going to be OU versus Texas in the finals. I know Jay thinks OSU gets there, but hey, I actually think the toughest matchup for OU is the first one against Baylor.
I agree.
They're one of the hottest teams. They're sitting at the 4 seed, but that's probably, I think, the toughest matchup for the Sooners.
Yeah, I look at it.
Yeah.
I look at that as a tough match. I mean, that's probably the toughest, but I still think if OSU gets to that championship game, I think OU and OSU in the finals would be another really good game probably. They beat them last year in the Big 12 tournament, and I know OU's got one loss, but when you get into tournament play, these teams are so fired up, okay, and anything can happen in one game. I still think, obviously, they're probably not going to lose the game, but it would not just totally shock me if they lost one before the World Series. I've been saying that for about 2 months now. What?
You've said that these teams are so fired up in the tournament. I'm pretty sure every team has looked forward to playing OU on their schedule.
Guys,
I agree.
That's fired up for. That's their national championship level of focus.
I agree, Jackson.
Death, Taxes, and Jason saying that OU is going to maybe be shocked and lose. This happens every single time. We know.
Why do you use that same motto every time? You see that same phrase: death, taxes.
Hold on, Jay. Do we need to remind you? Let me ask you a question. Jay's signature line he says on every podcast.
That's fine.
Hey.
I mean, what's so bad about that? And hey, I'll ask all y'all a question. Y'all have been saying they're not going to lose another game the whole year. I know y'all have been saying that. And I've been saying they will lose another game before the postseason, which they did not. They did not lose to OSU, even though I thought they might let one slip. But I just want to go back to last year. They did lose in the Big 12 tournament game, and Big 12 tournament. And to me, that would give them more motivation this year to not have it happen. But I just don't. I just think this team is not. It's not. If they lose, it's not because.
If they lose, they're beating themselves. The only team they're losing to is themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
And they don't do that because Patty Gasso is going to find. I don't care if it's a mole out on the grass, whatever it is. Patty Gasso will find it. Patty Gasso will use it for motivation. She's just like Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods in that sense. Yep. It doesn't matter what it is; she'll find it to motivate the girls. And Grace Lyons, that throw was at her shoulder. You need to make sure if it's at the chest.
Well, this is live.
She's always trying to find something to motivate it, and that's what she motivate the girls. That's what she's going to do. I'm more interested in two things really that stand out to me going to the Big 12 tournament. One is outside of their control, and the other one, well, really they're both outside of OU's control. One is how quickly is Kinsey Hansen going to be back? Okay. Second, I think she's back first round against Baylor. I think she'll be back. Second question is, what's the weather going to look like? Because there's rain in the forecast, up to an inch of rain on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. at Hall of Fame Stadium in that area. You can't really push it farther back into next week, per se, maybe. So it's just going to be interesting with weather and Kenzie Hansen, two things that maybe stand out to me.
Yeah. And honestly, a thing that I'm going to watch out for is whenever we get to this World Series time, which out of the three pitchers is going to step up and make themselves that go-to option? Because we have not seen Storako in this high of a stage. We've known Nicole May's past in the World Series. She's had her struggles. And last year we didn't get to see Jordy Ball because she was hurt. So really, when you think about it, all three of them are unproven in a sense in the World Series, but they're not unproven overall as pitchers. So that's
actually a really good point, Jackson, because like we did talk about early on this season, before they really got playing many games, we talked about Nicole May and how just her postseason struggles sometimes, and she hasn't had any really struggles throughout the regular season. Now we'll see in the postseason, but you're right. Jordy Ball injured last year, and then Storako. Yeah, I mean, so that is a great point. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with Deal.
That's true because
I mean, I know she's probably not going to pitch much, but I could see her getting some action maybe when they get a big lead or something, or maybe it's a situation like it was the other night where they brought her in and she just had a great inning and they left her in, and maybe you'll see that down the stretch here. I don't know.
I don't think we'll see her very much, and I know she's a lefty, and if a team, we could say maybe they're left-handed heavy in the lineup, but I don't even think Deal's to that point where she has enough innings under her belt to say, you can bring her in against a lefty, because I don't think the analytics are even in her favor on that, because she just hasn't seen enough opponents.
True.
I think you're right, Jay. With the lead, I could see her getting in there for just saving some innings on some of these other girls, but this is a different approach than we've seen Gasso have going into the postseason in the last couple of years. Juarez was the one that kind of they rode her the entire postseason. I'm trying to think of the other one that they rode.
Troutwine.
So they got those girls got hot, and Patty Gasso went with them.
But that's all they had. They didn't have the depth, though, Jeremy.
Right.
So they really couldn't do that.
Well,
they had Nicole May.
A difference that they had in those past years was that they had the best player in softball history on their team. So there was less pressure on the pitchers. Now, this team, depth-wise, is better overall offensively. But I don't know, maybe that if they get into a lull offensively, that there's someone like a Jocelyn Allo that's the greatest softball player of all time. Now, I think Tiara Jennings and Jada Coleman are elite players. That's another thing I'll be watching, is if maybe who's going to step up and maybe accustom themselves as the big playmaker on the offensive side of the ball.
Let's ask that question. We'll start with Braden. Who's going to be the MVP of the Big 12 tournament for OU?
Grace Lyons.
Jay.
Jada.
I'm actually going to go with. I'm going to go with Sydney Sanders, and I think she's going to have a heck of a tournament. I just really do.
I'm going to go with transfer as well. I'm going to go with Haley Lee.
Well, you know what, Jason? I'm going to say Sydney Sanders too. I look for her. She has been someone that's been coming on as of late, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see her have a monster.
Hey, guys. You know who else could be either?
Yeah, about 9 others. Who you saying, Braden?
Alina Torres.
Hey, Braden, you bring up Torres won't be. But hey, you bring up a point. So we just went around and we said Grace Lyons, Sydney Sanders, Haley Lee. Let's just say who we didn't mention. Tiara Jennings, Jada Coleman, Kenzie Hansen,
Alyssa Brito,
Riley Boone, no pitchers.
I mean, the reason I didn't pick a pitcher is because I don't think any of them will go more than one game. So it's hard for me to pick. Like,
Yeah.
I was going to pick maybe Ball, but I don't think she'll pitch twice.
Yeah. And speaking, I actually do think that OU all 3 games in the tournament will allow a combined 1 run.
I think they're going to go in with the mindset, and they probably would say this all the time, but it's like when Tiger Woods played St. Andrews. I keep going to Tiger Woods stuff, and he said,
I know.
not going to hit any bunkers. Not going to hit any bunkers the entire tournament. That was his goal. I think OU's going in there. We're not going to allow a run. Let's shut everyone out. I know that's always the game plan, but they easily can do that, I think.
Who's y'all's favorite pitcher to watch?
Jordy Ball. The mentality. I mean,
Alex Stracco.
I'm with Braden. Mine is Stracco for one sole reason. I think Ball sometimes, to me, the in-between pitches is so long.
Yeah.
She walks to the back of the mound. You know what I mean? Stracco, to me, just gets up there and fires it. I don't know. I've
always been a May
Stracco
fan.
pitch. What?
I've always been a May fan, and it's May 7th or 8th right now. Nicole May is who I just think her demeanor. And one thing at Jordy Ball, I love Jordy Ball, Jackson. Her demeanor, though, is very passionate. Nicole May's passionate, too, but it's a little bit less. Her demeanor is a little more calming factor. So I think that's with the postseason. Sometimes I think Jordy Ball, and she's been amazing. What I'm about to say is not in any way, shape, fashion diminishing her value. Sometimes I think she gets over amped up and hyped up, and that's just her personality, and it cost her a little bit early. And I think Nicole May was like that 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
well, I mean, I would say as an Oklahoma sports fan, I could see maybe the amped upness, the maybe coming out early and struggling a little bit compared to Russell Westbrook on the Thunder.
But, Ball
she's got a lot of comparisons. Yeah,
Ball
I
has
agree.
that very competitive mentality, which you gotta love. And with to me, like I think I said on our double take, if I were to take a picture with the game on the line, I'm taking Jordy Ball just because she's the most talented pitcher of the 3, and she just. I think sometimes if she could maybe be struggling and fight through it just because she's so competitive. You've seen that in other sports where people are struggling, but they're going to find a way to get out of the inning or whatever it may be.
And one thing you have going for you, as any of the Sooner pitchers will. Okay, you're playing for a team that's going to score runs. Okay, so one, that takes pressure off. 2, look down the center. You got Hansen behind the plate, Lyons up the gut, Jada Coleman, Riley Boone. We go on and on. Brito on the corner. The defense, you don't have to strike everyone out. No. There's so much pressure that's just taken off their shoulders. And honestly, they can play more freely. And we're going to see how free they play because the entire pressure is on OU from now until the end of the year. Up until this point, you could say, they could have lost the game. It really wouldn't have made a lick of difference had they lost 4 games. It wouldn't have mattered. It matters now. I think Patty Gasso embraces it. We got the whole championship mindset. This is what they want. They embrace it. They want it. Bring it on. They're going to be ready to rock and roll against Baylor. They're going to be ready to, again, avenge the loss that everyone said maybe Baylor's a team. And I think they're going to go and smoke into the World Series. But they love this pressure. This is what they live for.
Well, and they're chasing history. Let's just be blunt about it. If they win out, they will be the greatest team to ever play softball.
Hey,
you can't argue.
Win another national championship. They're one of the best sports dynasties ever.
And they're also to the point where viewers, spectators, even just your average softball ESPN fan who turns it on during the World Series, we're to the point now, just like the greatest teams of all time, the greatest players of all time, you're either with them or you're totally against them. And we're starting to hear it even in announcers. It's like people are getting sick of the winning. They want someone to actually be able to compete with OU, right? You're starting to see that more and more.
But I think that's only, and I got an example about that, because I think that's only from fans of like other good teams like UCLA or Arkansas or just other teams that are good teams. because I was on a conference call today for work, and my boss is in Memphis, right? And he was talking about OU softball. He was watching it this weekend and was like, "This team is unreal." He said his wife came in and was like, "What are you watching?" He's like, "This softball team is just unreal, this OU softball." And I think that's it. I think nationwide, your average viewer that's not a fan really of softball will love OU. I think it's the teams that are trying to beat OU that are good. They just can't stand OU.
Well, that's why if you've ever watched any sport just to watch greatness, that's why, like you said, your boss, you just tune into greatness.
Yep.
Okay. People would tune in on a Sunday to watch Tiger, even if they don't even say they love golf. You just want to see what's going to happen next at the course. You just want to see what this team's going to do next. You want to see what kind of diving catch someone's going to make. You want to see what kind of power they're going to bring, stepping up in the big moments. This is what they do, and people are attracted to greatness.
Yeah. And I mean, I can say from firsthand experience, because I'm still young in my sports watching career, whatever you want to say. I'm only 17 years old, but I've learned that to appreciate greatness, because there's times where maybe I didn't like Steph Curry because of how good he was, or LeBron James, or Tom Brady, whatever you want to say. But as sports fans, truly all these people that aren't cheering for OU, and even the biggest softball people, are appreciating what they're doing for the sport, because the sport of softball over the last 3 years has tripled or quadrupled its growth, probably.
And
Just
Jackson, that's a great point,
due to
because
the fact of OU.
that's exactly right. OU is a major player in why the sport has grown. I mean, big time. That's a great
How much are tickets going for the Big 12 tournament?
I think I saw day passes for like $20.
Really, that cheap?
Are y'all going?
What does the Hall of Fame Stadium hold?
Not.
I mean, I would like to go, but it would just be hard to fit into my schedule.
What's the capacity crowd at that stadium?
It's going to be a sell. It's going to be
It's
completely
going to be sold out every game.
11,000.
Yeah, it's going to be sold out every game. At least every game that OU plays. I don't think every game's going to sell out.
For you can buy a a general admission seating ticket for all 3 days for $116.
Wait, did you say it holds 11,000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it really hold that much?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know, Braden, you went last year, right? Was it the Big 12 or the College World Series?
College World Series.
I went to the college.
I'm planning on going to the World Series.
Yeah.
Sooner Surge trip. I think that's maybe Jay's Sooner Surge trip if he can get off for work.
Hey, we'll see, man. I'm just excited to watch it kick off this week, man. I'm ready.
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Who's pitching game one?
Ball.
I think you're going to see Ball, Storako, May in that order. May will be pitching in the championship game.
Really? May.
Unless they switch and go Ball, May, Storako with Storako in the championship game.
Yeah. But she may make some changes in the infield, like playing Torres at third.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think Brito's going to be the one.
Exactly what was wrong with Alyssa Brito, but she'll be back at third.
They might have just been giving her a breather on defense for a little bit. I mean,
probably.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of really just this team, it truly is incredible to what we are witnessing firsthand in sports. It is something that if you are a sports fan, don't take it for granted, even if you don't like OU, because I know as an OU fan, I'm appreciating it very much. And if you haven't, go check out surgesportsnetwork.com. We recently released our forum, where today we've been talking a lot about about transfer wide receiver target Jordan Tyson. There's been a lot of news on that. If you haven't, go follow our social medias. Please just go check out Search Sports Network. And boys,
one thing before we get off here. Later in the week, all the subscribers, be sure to tune in. We're going to have a kind of highlight video of some top plays from the Sooners this year leading up into the Big 12 tournament. So stay tuned. Sooner Surge. We'll catch you guys later. Boomer.
Boomer.
Boomer.